Hello friends, and welcome back to this course titled as British Poetry. Friends, we are now starting Unit 7 with the same text, Rape of the Lock, written by Alexander Pope. The last topic which we discussed in our class was the supernatural machinery, and today we are going to discuss the character portrait of Belinda under the topic Belinda, Vanity, Beauty and the Science of Superficial. Basically friends, these three topics, vanity, beauty and science of superficial, all three are talking about the artificiality in the personality of Belinda. And Belinda is not only one girl here friends. Alexander Pope is making Belinda as the representative of all women of the 18th century. So, the artificiality existed not only in the behavior of females but males as well, and there are many examples in the poem, including Baron, where you will feel that these are the people who are nothing in the real life, but they have a complete artificiality, a complete, let's say, attitude towards the life, but without any depth into it. But before moving to the, let's say, lecture, let me tell you what will be the lecture outcome. This will be a 30 minutes lecture, and you would be able to analyze the character portrait of Belinda in reference to vanity, beauty and science of superficial in this lecture. So, let us now move to the topic. Belinda is presented by Pope in The Rape of the Lock as a bundle of contradictions. Vanity is the quality of being vain or having a ridiculous amount of pride, and we had seen it friends. When we look at the personality of Belinda, we see that Belinda is full of contradictions. At one time she thinks in a different manner, another time in a different manner. And then all of her, let's say, appearances, preparations are vain. They are ridiculous. And the pride which she had of being Belinda, that is something which is completely artificial in reference to the storyline. This makes her not just a more interesting character, but also a reflection of the society in which she lives. First and foremost, Belinda is the ravishingly beautiful young lady. Her beauty, a source of wonderment and admiration to men and women alike. Friends, when we talk about, let's say, the personality of the beauty of Belinda, because she was a young beautiful lady, we understand that the admiration of men and women in the same manner is creating a monotonousness in the life of Belinda. She is projecting all the time, and what is she getting for that? The artificial appreciations of the artificial people of the society, nothing more than that. Her very name comes from the Latin for lovely to behold. Pope often describes Belinda in gushing superlative such as the brightest fair and the fairest of mortals. So, this is just an exaggeration friends. The word which Pope chose is Belinda, which means lovely to behold. It means she was so beautiful that she cannot hold her own, let's say, beauty, her own charm. She was considered as the brightest fair. A kind of, let's say, fairness which she has was completely unnatural. And she was the fairest of mortals, considering mortals here as human beings, and suggesting that Belinda was the most beautiful girl in that, let's say, setting. Belinda is acutely aware of her extraordinary beauty and equally extraordinary effect it has on people. She is the center of attention, wherever she goes, most notably during her pleasure ride down the Thames, her bright smile and eyes shining like the sun. Friends, when we look at the beginning of the story, we see that Belinda is preparing on her, let's say, makeup table for the evening party. And when she moves in, let's say, in the river, in a boat, the beautiful presentation of Belinda is done through the bright smile and eyes. And how Pope explains her beauty, that is something very interesting. Pope says about Belinda, bright as a sun, her eyes the gazers strike, and like the sun, she shines on all alike, suggesting that her beauty has so much brightness that she was gazing in the eyes of the lookers. And the people were looking at her. They were surprised to see the brightness in the eyes of Belinda. Not surprisingly, with all this natural beauty and the attention it brings, Belinda is a rather vain, superficial young lady. She worships at the feet of beauty, and as she is the very embodiment of that beauty, she worships herself as intently as everyone else does. Friends, this is very interesting to note that Belinda was a narcissist. She was a self-lover. She cannot see anyone more beautiful than her. She used to worship her beauty, herself, her appearance. Though self-assured, Belinda's value system seems more than a tad confused. She ostentatiously keeps a copy of the Bible on her dressing table, along with all her powders, creams and hairbrushes. Again, friends, let's say a way of writing mock epic. Belinda, when preparing, doing makeup, she used to keep a Bible on her dressing table, along with powder, cream and hairbrushes, suggesting that Belinda do not understand the seriousness of Bible, the preachings which Bible has, the beauty and the satisfaction and the spiritual growth which a person can achieve after reading Bible. So, the Bible is just a mode of doing show off in front of other people that she is a religious lady. It's as if Belinda treats the Word of God as just another fashion accessory, a means of showing off to people how devout she is. So, this is just a projection attempt, friends, keeping Bible on her table, suggesting to others that she is a devotee. She believes in Christianity, but she believes always in the sensual pleasure. But placing a Bible next to a pile of love letters indicates just how shallow this attachment to religion really is. Friends, Belinda was so shameful lady that she used to keep the love letters sent to her by the suitors adjacent to the Bible. You can understand that she had no respect of this religious book. Belinda's childishness, vanity and superficiality come even more strongly when the Baron relieves her of one of her pretty locks. So, friends, when Baron cuts the lock of Belinda, the childishness, the immaturity, the superficiality of her behavior comes out. From inside, she was an ignorant lady, knowing nothing about the worldly affairs, and that is visible in her behavior. Belinda lives by the code of beauty. Her whole life is uttered devoted to it. Without her lovely lock of hair, she feels no longer beautiful. It is then, however, that Belinda undergoes a stark transformation. Friends, we can understand that how foolish Belinda was. All of us know that hairs grow. Even if we cut hair, after some time they grow and take the same, let's say, length. But when the lock was cut, Belinda thought that she is not beautiful anymore. The transformation of her personality takes place. The arrogance in the attitude of Belinda comes out to Baron. In her implacable wrath and thirst for vengeance, she is no longer innocent, no longer a goddess walking upon the earth, but a real human being, fallen, vulnerable, and subject to the vicissitudes of everyday life. Friends, when Belinda changed after the cut of lock, we saw that a wrath or thirst of vengeance, taking revenge from Baron, came into Belinda's, let's say, face. She is no longer innocent now, not looking like a goddess, but she was looking like a real human being who can be considered as fallen, vulnerable, pitiable, helpless, and, let's say, hopeless person in every aspect of life. The central theme of the rape of Locke is the fuss that high society makes over trifling matters such as breaches of decorum. Friends, we see that there is a decorum propaganda which is visible in the story, and that is made on every trifling matter by the society. In the poem, a feud of epic proportions erupts after the Baron steals a lock of Belinda's hair. In the real life incident on which Pope based his poem, the Petre and the Farmer families had a falling out after Lord Petre snipped off one of the Arabella Farmer's lock. Friends, all of us know that the background of this story. This is the story of Petre family and Farmer family, and Lord Petre, he snipped off Arabella Farmer's lock. Arabella is represented by Belinda in this story. The climax of the rape of Locke occurs when the Baron snips away one of Belinda's locks. Other themes that Pope develop in the poem include human vanity and importance of being able to laugh at life's little reversals. Friends, when we look at this poem, we see that this poem is not only about the cutting of Locke or the fight between Belinda and Baron, but this is the story of human vanity. Human beings are wasting their life in England in just projection, show off, and the importance of being able to laugh at life's little reversals. When life change, how you can laugh on the changes in your life. That is the, let's say, the motive Pope is trying to convey. The later motive is a kind of moral to the story. Clarissa touches upon both of these themes when addressing tearful Belinda, shorn of her lock. Friends, there is a, let's say, speech of Clarissa. Clarissa is one of the servants who offers the scissors to Baron for cutting of hair of Belinda. And when the hair are cut, the lock is cut, Clarissa gives a speech where she is addressing the tearful Belinda, and how, let's say, this servant Clarissa explains this incident. Let us read in this quotation, and I quote this line from the poem. But since, alas, frail beauty must decay, curled or uncurled, since lock will turn to grey. So friends, you can see that Clarissa is a servant, but she is talking like a priest. She is saying that beauty must decay one day, because everyone has to grow old in some, let's say, in some stage of life. Whether the locks are curled or uncurled, but these locks are going to be grey one day. It means a person will grow old, the hair will become white. Since painted or not painted, all shall fade, and she who scorns a man must die a maid. So, then Clarissa further says that whether you, let's say, color your hair or do not color your hair, they are all going to fade. And if you don't, let's say, if you are a lady who scorn a man, you will die like a maid. What then remains but well our power to use and keep good humor still whatever we lose. So Clarissa says maybe Clarissa is unmarried and she is a maid who has nothing in her life, no hope left. She has no family or, let's say, husband, which is why she is trying to compare Belinda's fate with a maid who has achieved nothing in her life. So she says, she ends her speech by saying, and then remains but well, O power to use. Say that whatever power you are going to use, that need to be used for keeping good humor. Whatever you lose in your life, but if you have good humor in yourself, then you are going to achieve everything, because good humor can reflect satisfaction and happiness in a person's life. So friends, we can see that Belinda, when we were, let's say, analyzing the personality of Belinda, we not only looked at the appearance of Belinda, but we also discussed the, let's say, character portrait of Baron or Clarissa or the 18th century society. We can see that in 18th century, males and females, I am specifically talking about young males and females, they are living the life of hollowness and artificiality. There are rich people belonging to the royal blood court, and their parents must be in the higher position in feudalism. Of course, I am talking about their fathers and not mothers, because women were not considered as very intellectual in that age. They had their set roles to play. The women used to, let's say, live in those roles, and thus we cannot say that Belinda also has too much power, which is why she is creating her own power through beauty. People are appreciating her not because of her post or because of her intelligence, but because of her beauty, and which is why she is creating an artificialness in her beauty. The artificialness which is created through makeup, and that makeup is appreciated by everyone in the society, suggesting that people do not like natural beauty but artificial beauty. Belinda, if appear without any makeup, hair in a natural manner, not the locks, then maybe the people would not like to see her. But when she transforms her personality by spending hours in front of her mirror, creates a altogether different kind of Belinda. When we look at the appearance of Baron, we see that Baron is also seen as a person with that kind of hollowness. And when we look at Clarissa, we see that Clarissa, although a servant, is behaving like a, let's say, a priest, a messenger in the story. I hope that you have now understood the personality of Belinda. That is all for today. Thank you for listening.